Thank you, TikTok. I'm grateful to be a part of your community. I'm just here to do my best to suggest help to people who really need it. Now let's celebrate by improving our reading and comprehension skills. This is in Isaiah chapter 2, where God's universal reign happens before the Messiah comes. Now it will come about that day in the last days, the mountain of the house of the Lord will be established as the chief of the mountains and will be raised above the hills, and all the nations will stream to it, and many peoples will come and say, "Come, let's go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, so that he may teach us about his ways and that we may walk in his paths." This is saying that Yahweh will raise up a mountain so high that the whole world will see it, and all the nations will come flock to him. Continuing from the end of verse 3, "For the law will go out from Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, and he will judge between the nations, and will mediate for many peoples, and they will beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning knives. Nation will not lift up a sword against nation, and never again will they learn war." Now, upon first glance, you would think that this is talking about him bringing peace, but if you know what the law is, and you know how he judges, and then you know that this is not what you think it is. But if you don't know, and you don't believe me, the next few passages will prove it. Watch this. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing because I'm pretty sure you're bright enough to know how to read, but I'm going to read the end near verse 10 where it says, "Do not forgive them. Enter the rocky place and hide in the dust from the terror of the Lord and from the splendor of his majesty. The proud look of humanity will be brought low, and the arrogance of people will be humbled, and the Lord alone will be exalted on that day." To put it simply, Isaiah is telling the house of Jacob about how bad these foreigners are and that they need to go hide in a rocky place because the Lord is going to come through and destroy some shit. And it's not talking about like the 1,000 years is a day to the Lord type of thing, because it clearly says that he told him to hide in a rocky place that day when the Lord does this. Then there's a whole bunch of more prophesying until you get to Isaiah chapter 9, where we are now. It talks about every boot of the marching warrior, the cloak rolled in blood, talking about more destroying that Yahweh is going to do. Then it talks about the Messiah in verse 6 of Isaiah chapter 9. "For a child will be born to us, a son will be given to us, and the government will rest on his shoulders, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. There will be no end to the increase of his government or of peace on the throne of David and over his kingdom, to establish it and to uphold it with justice and righteousness from then on and forevermore. The zeal of the Lord of armies will accomplish this." So as we can see, before the Messiah comes, a mountain so high that the whole world can see it will be raised up by Yahweh. Everyone's going to be astonished, want to be beside him. Then he's going to start destroying all the other nations in order to end war. And then the son will be born, the Messiah will be born, and bring an everlasting government in honor of the Lord of armies, which is Yahweh. Now I got a couple questions. Firstly, why is this guy so hell-bent on tyrannically conquering a world that he claims he created and he already has power over? Secondly, how could Jesus be the Messiah if all of these things have to take place before a Messiah comes, and Jesus replaced the Levitical priesthood, which in Jeremiah, Yahweh says is forever? I'm just asking.